Today, as you know, we traded Johnny Boychuk to the New York Islanders for a second-round pick this year, which is Philadelphia's pick that they had acquired. Second-round pick next year, and a conditional third-round pick this year if he's traded to the Eastern Conference throughout the remainder of the term of the contract for this year. So a little bit of protection. You know, this is a tough trade. We all like Johnny. I spoke with him shortly after the trade was consummated. I told him, you know, Johnny, we brought you here from Colorado. You did everything we told you to do. You got better as a player. You were patient. You got better. You're part of the fabric of the team. And, you know, this was really hard to do, but we've got... There's an element of business to it, an element of hockey, and we tried to get ahead of it a little bit. So he was upset. I was upset. I'm still upset. He's the one who's moving. So he. That was my exchange with him. This deal was born out of a couple of things. One, our cap situation. Two, as I said, trying to be proactive on team planning, and I think, you know, I look at this a little bit globally. Like this may be one in a series of 2 or 3 steps throughout the course of the year, and I wish I could do everything at once. We were involved in some deals for players, and you know, as I said to you back in June or July, like, you know, this is stuff that we have to peck away at, and unfortunately this is the type of step that comes first. So I feel we got very valuable return. Those are real valuable picks that can be used to draft players and acquire players.
How much of this was about this year's particular cap issues, and how much of this was about thinking maybe you weren't going to be able to retain him after this year was over, and, you know, getting value in sort of the long-term look?
You know what, Joe, it was both, and I'm not going to put a number on it. You know, part of my job is projecting the market, and I see where Johnny's market's going, and all this brings to him. I mean, he's earned it. Like, he's battles, and he's a good player. He's earned it. So I have to. Part of it was that. Part of it was doing some housekeeping for our cap issues, and part of it was the strength of the return, like a strong return. So you look at those 3 things, you make a decision to move forward. You know, how does it impact our team? You know, I'm very well liked, and I'm sure the guys are bummed, and they're probably a little bit bummed at me for doing it, but you know, it's about making the team better now, tomorrow, the next day, arguably this doesn't make us better now, obviously, but you know, it's something that, you know, when I look at it in a series of steps, I think it's the way to move.
This versus other trades you've made, probably. You probably had to weigh keeping him and letting him walk versus the package that you got back.
We've got a lot of people to sign, and you're right. There's a list of priorities, and part of my job is to prioritize things, and that's a little bit how it shakes out. You know, I'd love to keep this team together, player to player, as long as I could, if I felt it was prudent, on the hockey front and the financial front. And I've tried to keep the critical mass together, and continue to provide the right moves for the organization. So, but you're right. There's a lot of factors involved, and we could have kept them, and you know, we keep them. We're not trading them at the deadline. We keep them. We're using them, and so, you know, that played in the factor. You can say, here's what you would have got at the deadline, but I don't weigh that as this year.
Peter, how much of it came down to defense that you have on the Boston club, the defensive depth that you have right now?
Well, that's part of it too. I mean, we've got guys who are going to step up. They're not the same players. Johnny, we've got players that are returning from injury, and Adam McQuaid. We've got players that are coming into their own. And Matt Barkowski. We've got a player in Dougie Hamilton that's really picking it up. We've got the Dennis coming back. Dennis Seidenberg coming back from injury, shaking the rest off. He was good last night. He's getting better every day. We've got Z, who's trained in a terrific way this year. He's increased all his performance metrics. So you have to rely on the other D picking up the slack, and that was in our equation as to what the other D would do. And there's a bunch of, if you heard me, I'm sure you did hear me earlier prior to the camp starting about mixing and matching, seeing what the lines are, seeing what the pairs are, and then we went through that process and we came up with this.
So who do you see moving up or taking more of a role?
I'll leave that up to Claude. Obviously, we have discussions about it, and I feel that he's got some tools in the toolbox, and we'll see how the performance goes. We'll see how this the first part of the season unfolds, and at the end of the day, he's got to decide.